This video will explain best practices for planning a full course and how to manage the small details. This spreadsheet is a holistic overview of your course. It is easy to get lost in an LMS, building page after page. So this template is to help you plot an outline for your course so you don't waste time developing content that doesn't align or forget the things you do need. By plotting this document out before you build, you can visualize how content works together, and an instruction designer can help you fill in the pieces more efficiently. The first step is to select a template that matches the length of your course, 6, 8, or 16 weeks. Let's look at these specific components of the planner. First and foremost, your course should already have a course title and learning objectives identified when it was approved, so you can use these as guideposts at the top that apply to all the modules. Second, you may have ideas about topics you want to cover in the course. These are generally broad and help you identify and write learning module objectives. These are specific things students will be able to do after working through a module. A best practice is to structure a module around related topics, while increasingly working towards higher level thinking and application of skills towards the end of the course. The blue and tan sections are where the course really begins to take shape. In a traditional face-to-face modality, there are typically activities students do in a classroom, like take notes during lectures, watch videos, or take assessments, while out-of-class activities are reading chapters and doing homework assignments. But in an online modality, these lines are blurred. Online learning needs clear instruction about the content and specific directions on how to complete activities, since students are working somewhat independently. Students need multiple sources of information and increasingly different types of sources. This is where the reading and media sections come in. Curating sources like demonstration videos, discussion podcasts, and simulations are engaging materials. Reading should be more than one textbook. Great sources are academic journals, news, and blogs. Passive reading is not recommended. Instead, text should be the basis of discussions or assignments and include deeper analysis like annotations that allow students to work with the content. Students also need interactions in an online setting that replicate the experience in a face-to-face setting. This is also a federal requirement of financial aid. Activities like text or video discussions, interactive whiteboards, group projects, group annotations, and peer reviews are excellent examples to use in a course. Assignments and assessments are creative options as well. Students can demonstrate their learning through graphical documents, audio or visual files, professional website links, but also through different question formats like categorization, ordering, and hotspot locations. Modern learning is now much more than essays and multiple choice quizzes. Lastly, one of the most important features of the spreadsheet is that it helps you stay on track to meet Carnegie hours, also an institutional requirement by Policy 250. Besides each learning activity is a column to type in the estimated minutes that it should take the average student to complete it. These minutes are then auto-calculated into a total number for that learning type. These totals are cumulative by module and by the entire course, so as you fill in the planner, you work your way towards the Carnegie goal. Note that the templates provided are based on a typical 3-credit course, so the expected Carnegie times will need to be adjusted for courses of 1, 2, 4, 5, or 6 credits. Ideally, a course content planner is mostly full before a course is built in a learning management system because it can help you identify what activities need rubrics. Is the content too light or too heavy for a single module? Is there enough work time for students before a due date? And other overview type decisions needed in a successful course design. While the most important pieces are the learning objectives to guide you, an instructional designer can help you design a creative but rigorous learning experience for students so that your course is meaningful. Your course may have learning objectives already, but now is the time to examine them more carefully to evaluate if these are measurable and relevant, especially if an existing course is being redesigned for rigor and updates. Remember, the CLOs are the main guidepost in a course. One of the tricky parts of writing objectives is determining how they are measured. In the red box, be aware is a hard thing to measure in a student. Can they draw what they're aware of? Do they explain the details of something? Notice that digging into how being aware is measured, it's using specific action verbs. In the example shown here at the beginning level English course, specific action verbs about a specific topic are given with conditions, similar to a math equation. Here, students will identify a writing element such as a thesis and create their own. The point is that students should be able to write a thesis statement and identify where they wrote that thesis statement in their work. This is measurable because students can either write a statement and point to it, or they cannot. A more descriptive example is given in the green box that transforms the red example into something measurable. Instead of be aware, students are asked to describe something specific, the interaction, in a specific condition of disease states. Tweaking learning objectives to be measurable will go a long way in helping you develop relevant learning activities and assessing specific learning so you don't waste your or your students' time doing things. Building a course around topics rather than chapters in a specific textbook has shown to lead to more rigorous content and increase the shelf life of a course. As you brainstorm topics in your course content planner, note that this does not mean you need specific module titles yet. The examples shown here are official titles, but it is easy to identify what topics are likely to be covered in each of these modules. You can also see that as the course progresses, the topics begin heading towards performance assessment, typically presentations or portfolios. When you identify topics in a module, it also helps you narrow down sources to curate materials, whether it be academic articles, videos, or designing an appropriate type of assessment. If you are redesigning an existing course, brainstorming topics first can also help you guide the course in a different but more appropriate direction, because you can better evaluate the logical flow of topics to build to higher level skills at the end of the course. At this point in your planner progress, take a moment to review two of the most important guideposts: course learning objectives and the topics. Can you measure learning? Does everything align to support each other? Does the order of topics make sense? Here's where you can check if you are planning a topic that students need more pre-knowledge so that you can build that in now. Once you have CLOs, a timeline, and topics, you can dig into specific learning goals for each module. At this stage, you are likely thinking about how to measure specific actions about specific topics to evaluate learning. You might even have individual assignments or assessments in mind. In the example shown here, the previous CLO was rewritten from be aware to the verb describe to indicate students will say or write something descriptive about an interaction process. So in this particular module, students will specifically explain how the interaction process changes a specific condition, in this case, a hormone dysfunction. This is likely measured by a formal research paper, a video response, a short answer question, or as part of a presentation, as these are all valid assessment activities. The module learning objectives are written in the same verb format as CLOs. Your topics will lead you to creating MLOs. Now you can begin writing MLOs for your course content planner for specific modules. Remember, the CLOs and MLOs should be aligned, and all the activities in the course match at least one of them.